Hello, kittens. It's your friend Megan back again, in the backyard, trying out my new toy. If anyone is interested, you might have heard me mention in the past how much I wanted a selfie stick. I really wanted to channel that Tyler Breeze energy and, be able to take a half-decent video with one arm. So, this video is brought to you by Jenny. Thanks, Jenny. You're the friggin' best. Now on with the rest of the video. So, sunshine. I'm not used to this. I'm a basement dweller. It's hard. It's like living in a dungeon and then coming outside in the sunshine. I sort of don't know what to do with myself, so I'm sitting under a tree in my backyard and hopefully not weirding out my neighbors too much. I opted not to bring the cat out this time because, well, chasing after him is a whole lot of work when you got a lot of other things on the go. Anyway, I just wanted to talk briefly about something that is a bit of a summer tradition of mine. And it's something that I hadn't really been doing much of in the past couple of years. And for anyone not in the know, it's Harry Potter. I remember years ago hearing about it, probably around the summer before the first movie came out. And I thought, yeah, this is something I definitely need to get involved in. Like, it just seems so fun. And because I'm a nerd, I had to figure out what the story was about before they actually made the movie. Because, the book is always better than the movie. So that became a bit of my summer obsession that year. I think I read the first two books in the span of a day and a half, and then had to wait for the third one and the fourth one, and it was just a whole big thing. So every year, because the books tended to come out in the summertime, every year it was like I'd have a new book to read, I'd have to reread the entire series every year to get ready for the new book. I had to prep. It wasn't like I had it memorized. Lol, I totally had it all memorized. No, not all. Okay, lies. How much of this will I edit out? I had a lot of it memorized. I would have beat your ass at Harry Potter trivia. It's a true story. So, I guess the long story of this is that for the longest time, that hadn't been my thing. I hadn't been doing my summer reread. And maybe it was because I was unwell, and maybe it was because I was busy, maybe I had other things on the go, maybe it just wasn't a priority for me, but a few weeks ago it just came to my mind and said, I've got to do the Harry Potter thing. It was a beautiful sunny day, and all I could think about was getting a cup of coffee, reading some Harry Potter, get sucked back into the universe, and well, folks, I have done it. This was maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, and I'm about a third of the way through Order of the Phoenix, again. It's the largest book? I think it's the longest book. There's a lot of stuff in it. And, wow, like, some of the things, you reread passages, and it's like reading it again for the first time. Like, I know it sounds so cliched, but it's just, spoiler alert. Ron gets made prefect. He's not expecting it, nobody else is expecting it, and the twins just give him the hardest time, and just reading it again, I'm reminded of the first time that I read it, and I was just like, oh, I love it. Little Icky Ronnigan's getting his prefect badge. Freaking cute. And it just excites me, so I'm just really, really into the series again, and it puts me in a good headspace, and it makes me feel good. But the funny thing is, it's even more so than the books, it's the fandom. And I think that's what really drew me in the first place, is that it's a diverse world. Like, the magical world it's infinite. Like, there's just everything there. And you want to be a part of it so bad, and it's so hard not to dream of being a muggle, getting your Hogwarts letter, and then suddenly being whisked off to this magical place, and, this is real life, obviously, that is not happening, but a girl can dream, and I do. I don't care that I'm a 34-year-old woman, not currently employed, trying to do something with her life. And here I am spending my days reading Harry Potter. I have zero regrets, because that series enriches me. It makes me feel good. It reminds me of, you know, good that can be. Even though, well, before I came out, I was reading about Dolores Umbridge giving Harry detention, and that's a bit of a buzzkill, obviously. Nobody likes that. Umbridge is a foul, foul, foul woman. As if she was real. Like, all this hate for this imaginary character, but, you know, she's real in this series, and she's real in that world, and she's representative of a lot of people in the real world, in the non-magical world, and just this intolerance and hatred, and we could do less, we could do with less of that. I don't really know what else to really say. I wasn't gonna go wax philosophical about, you know, how the real world and the wizarding world really tie in real life and stuff like that. I'm not writing my dissertation, although I probably could have done that at one point. But what I really wanted to think about was the sorting hat. We've all come across these quizzes online, you know, what house would you be sorted into if you actually went to Hogwarts? And, you know, it's nice to imagine the best parts of yourself and what would be highlighted in a moment like that. So you'd figure out, you know, you got your Gryffindors. So they're the brave and courageous ones, the noble, you know, all these great qualities. But, you know, I never felt that way. I never felt like a brave person. I never felt like I was fearless. So I wouldn't necessarily, you know, mesh with that. So you go to the other biggie, Slytherin. Is Slytherin? For the longest time I thought I could never be a Slytherin. I'm not evil. I'm not determined like that. I'm not, you know, I don't have that drive to prove myself. But maybe I do. Like, maybe I do have elements of that in me. And there's sometimes I think, you know, as if it's a black and white issue. Like, am I Gryffindor? Am I Slytherin? I'm neither, obviously. You know, Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw. You know, for years I used to pretty much assume I was a Ravenclaw. Most of the quizzes I'd take would put me in Ravenclaw house, you know. Wit beyond measure is man's greatest treasure, as Luna Lovegood was heard to be saying one time, at least. And, you know, that's the house where the most clever and, you know, book-knowledged folks would end up, and I always figured that, you know, that's where I'd be, you know, the smart cookie house. And, you know, my sister used to always argue with me and say, oh god no, like, you're a Hufflepuff, like, look at you, you know, you're a Hufflepuff. And oh my god, I couldn't think of a worse insult. Like, you called your own sister a Hufflepuff, you know, load of duffers, useless, you know, that's the mindset. But then really when you look at, you know, sorting hat specifications, you know, hardworking, honest, trustworthy, loyal, awesome qualities, but it didn't feel like me. I don't consider myself particularly hardworking. I get stuff done when I need to, but I'm not, I don't know. I don't work hard at things. I'm lazy. So I figured, you know, that would automatically disqualify me from being ever a Hufflepuff. But, you know, over the years, you hear about other things. Like, I saw something on Pinterest recently, I've probably reposted from Tumblr, talking about how Hufflepuff is really the stoner house. And I thought it was so ridiculous, but I had to have a laugh. You know, they're in the dungeons down next to the kitchens. Head of house is the herbology teacher, you know, and the badger was, oh, I got an ant on me. The badger is the house crest animal, and, you know, only a stoner would come up with that, and I was like, okay, that's kind of silly. And, you know, some people who know me now would say, oh yeah, well, given those qualifications, you're definitely a Hufflepuff, but not when I was in school, and I guess that's what it really counts on, you know. Sorting hat gets you when you're 11 years old. Just think back to when you were 11, like, are there any of these qualities that, you know, really resonated with you when you were 11? Did you ever feel like there was one thing about you that someone else could see, and that would be like the recipe to your success? This is in essence what is you, because, you know, you are your house. You know, you're a representation. It's your family. And in that case, I really wouldn't know where I'd fit in. I still like to think I'd be a Ravenclaw. I'm wearing a blue t-shirt, you know, does that count? I'm no Cho Chang. I probably wouldn't be playing Quidditch anyway, so, totally besides the point. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like, what house have you been sorted into online? If you've been reading or watching the Potter series, what would you feel like? Do you think there'd ever be a time that maybe the hat got it wrong? You know, Harry often wonders that. You know, he had the conversation in his head with the hat. You know, not Slytherin, anything but Slytherin. And he gets put in Gryffindor because, you know, it was part of his choice. And, you know, the hat takes that into consideration. And sometimes I just wonder, you know, what would it see in me? Which of these 4 houses would it put me? And I guess it kind of leaves me to wonder, what do I value most in myself? And what would I personally think is worth pursuing? I guess this is getting a bit rambly. Hard not to, and I'm just sitting here talking about sorting hats and foolish, magical nonsense. But anyway, back to enjoying the summer, back to enjoying the magical world of Harry Potter, back to wondering which house I will be in, back to learning to get some better angles with my fun new selfie stick, and yeah, if you have any more comments about Harry Potter, anything you want to add, is there any tradition that you do in the summertime? Is there anything that makes you feel good? Is there anything that helps you feel grounded and connected? You know, let me know what you think, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Bye, everybody.